Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. We are back for a second big news video today because we now have a look at Karnage the Anarch. We have his full skill set available to us to see for the first time. This is the free mythical champion that everybody can get from the cursed city of Cintranos. Let's check out his base stats here. This is from the official preview video. We just did a reaction to it. Let's take a quick gander. So we can see in his Form 1, he's a fairly standard nuker, I would say, right? 1476 attack, 100 speed, 63% crit damage, fairly high base HP, but nothing too crazy. He switches over to Form 2, and suddenly it's mostly the same stats. He gets a bit squishier, but my goodness, he jumps to, by far, the highest attack in the game. His attack just goes absolutely through the roof. It is totally absurd. Another thing, let me see if we come back here. In terms of how you get this guy, by the way, I believe that you can get 100 candles by fully clearing, essentially, the Cursed City every month. At 500 candles, you get Karnage. So it looks to me like this is going to take you basically 5 months to get this guy. Let's see. Is he worth it? Is this guy worth the hype? Or is he a flop? Let's see. I've gone the wrong way. It's over here. Here we go. Let's check him out. Karnage the Anarch. He's a Spirit Affinity Mythical from the Demon Spawn faction. He looks very cool. That's absolutely sure. Let's take a look. Suffer/A1. Attacks one enemy 2 times. 50% chance, straight up, of removing one random buff from the target. This has a passive effect. Whenever an enemy hits this champion or an ally, has a 50% chance to counterattack with this skill. Chance increases by 10% for each debuff on the enemy. So if they've got 5 debuffs, he basically has a 100% chance to counterattack with the A1 and start removing their buffs. That's actually kind of intriguing. Could be very strong against bosses. He's really going to be slamming them with the A1. I like it. That's pretty cool. Obviously, polymorph is going to be an issue. I think we're going to see that throughout his whole kit. I took a quick glance at least at his base form. I haven't looked at his other form yet. I mean, certainly initial impressions are he's certainly going to be vulnerable to polymorph, but we know there's a polymorph nerf coming in January. And if it's going to take us 5 months to get this guy, that will definitely be in before we get him. I mean, there might even be a second polymorph nerf at this rate before we even get Karnage. So we'll see, but it's a cool A1. Devilish Accord, 4 turn. That does book to a 3 turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Before attacking, swaps HP with an enemy, steals all buffs from them, transfers all debuffs from this champion to the target, and puts a seal debuff on the target for 2 turns. The debuff cannot be removed. The debuff cannot be resisted or blocked if the target is 50% HP or less. So if they're low on life, it's definitely gonna happen, right? Certainly interesting. I think this becomes more obviously good with his passive, but double hitter, swap HP with them. That's interesting. So I guess like if he's low on life, you can even pick an enemy that's high on life, swap HP, ensure that it can't be resisted or blocked. You steal all their buffs, put all your debuffs on, and the seal debuff. Yeah, certainly polymorph again is absolutely horrible here, but it could be intriguing. I really think the passive is what makes this good. Now, seal. What the heck is seal? What is seal? Well, if we jump over to this was from Plarium, their summary about Karnage, by the way, where Arena will be the main place for him to shine. A brand new seal debuff will be a very interesting thing to work with. This debuff allows you to turn off the effects from gear sets and masteries, except for the stat boosts granted by the artifacts, accessories, and masteries that only boost stats, like Blade, Disciple, Flawless Execution, etc. It does not block effects that were activated before these debuffs were placed. So in his base form, his goal is to debuff the enemy to gain maximum bonuses in his alternate form afterwards. In the alternate form, he becomes a pure damage dealer that boosts his performance thanks to debuffs on his enemies. So that's the idea right here. If we look over at the official patch notes as well that just came out with this stuff, seal and master seal debuffs. So seal blocks effects from gear sets and masteries except stat boosts. Master seal is an enhanced version of this debuff which additionally blocks the effects from blessings except for stat boosts. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure where master seal is going to come in. I don't know. I mean, probably mythical champions. I'm assuming other mythicals down the line, but that's kind of cool. Yeah, turning off gear sets and masteries. You're certainly going to make tanky champions a lot squishier. You will absolutely make damage dealers much weaker with this. The damage dealers are often easy enough to kill. Certainly turning off like their savage set, etc. is pretty strong. Turning off helm smasher, etc. is pretty strong. Yeah, it's definitely going to help you to punch through champions. So yeah, there you go. I think Seal is decent. It's useful. Master Seal definitely seems stronger. Like turning off Polymorph in particular, that's a pretty big deal. That's going to help. But yeah, 2 new debuffs anyway. So interesting stuff. That's what's going on there. Trinity of Pain, a 3-turn cooldown. Attack one enemy 3 times. First hit, block passive skills for 2 turns. That cannot be removed. Second hit, block active skills for 2 turns. Cannot be removed. Third hit, steals 100% turn meter. All right, cool. Massive triple hit, single target. It's all single target, interestingly enough. And then he switched to other form. Now, where I think this gets interesting, he, by the way, I hadn't actually touched on this, 33% speed in arena battles aura. This is the best speed aura for arena in the game. Lord Shazar, I think, is 32%. That's kind of insane. Avatar of Anarchy. Each hit this champion deals from skills has a 50% chance of applying a debuff spread effect, taking a random debuff from the target, placing it on all enemies. Whenever he kills an enemy, has a 100% chance of applying debuff spread, taking all debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies that cannot be resisted. Now, again, polymorph is a problem. He can get polymorphed. However, this becomes pretty strong, right? Trinity of Pain. Hit 1, block passive skills. Hit 2 puts block active skills and a 50% chance to spread block passive skills to everybody. And then hit 3 can potentially spread either one, right? So Trinity of Pain, it's block passive skills, block active skills, single target, but it could potentially, it's got a decent chance to debuff spread and make it an AoE block passive or block active skills, or potentially both, which is kind of nifty. So that is kind of interesting. More interesting is if you kill them, right? Again, this is a triple hit. This probably hits very hard, and you're turning off their passives as well. That could be very strong. You kill them, it will irresistibly spread block passives and block actives to everyone on the enemy team. That's very strong. Makes Devilish Accord much better as well. You steal all their buffs, but then you put all the debuffs from him onto the target and a seal debuff on them, and you potentially make them super squishy. And again, if you kill them, it will spread all the debuffs you just transferred and that seal to everyone. So every enemy will get the seal debuff. So I think the passive is what really brings this together. It's interesting. Polymorph completely wrecks this. So certainly for high-end arena, he's basically entirely non-viable. But again, maybe the polymorph nerfs will rein that in a little bit. We shall see. But yeah, so there you go. Let's jump over to Form 2, his alternate form, which looks super badass. It has a ridiculous almost 2,000 base attack. Let's see what this does. So, Demon Stinger. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Heal this champion by 20% damage inflicted. He's very squishy, so I don't see that being super useful. Passive. Whenever an enemy hits this champion or an ally, 50% chance to counterattack. Chance increases. So it's the same sort of A1. I imagine this hits really hard, though. Right, so it's going to hit really hard. He's going to have a very good chance to counterattack. That's kind of cool. Okay. I mean, like, you could, in theory, right, Trinity of Pain them. They could have Stone Skin and stuff like that, which could block it. But you could, in theory, block passive skills, active skills, steal all their turn meter, just like one-shot somebody, AoE spread that, then switch into his alternate form and have them pretty debuffed. That's kind of cool. Singularity of Pain. Attacks all enemies. Ignore shield buffs. This is a 4-turn, books to a 3-turn cooldown. Also ignores ally protection buffs when attacking enemies under 1 or more debuff, and unkillable buffs when attacking enemies under 2 or more. Kind of underwhelming, actually. Like, look, it's an AoE that ignores shields. It's okay. Not amazing. There's no ignore defense. There's other champions that ignore more buffs. It's okay. I mean, shield buffs are very strong. Bolster set is very, very strong. It's going to ignore that. That's good. But it's a little bit cumbersome to ignore ally protection and unkillable, that you need those effects. Again, it's just certainly in the current meta, polymorph is there. Debuffs are very uncommon. Revivers, cleansers, that sort of thing are very common. Buff strippers are very uncommon. All this stuff is subject to change. This could be significantly stronger by the time he actually comes out. We'll see. Infernal Stars. Let's zoom in and go down a bit. Infernal Stars, this is a 5 going to 4 turn cooldown, so it's long. Attacks all enemies 2 times. If a target is killed by the skill while under 3 or more different debuffs, puts block revive on them and heals this champion by 30% of the damage dealt. Again, I mean, it hits hard. He does not have any ignore defense, though. He's not ignoring any other buffs. You need 3 debuffs to trigger block revive. That's not easy to do. I mean, it's probably a very hard-hitting move. Yeah, I mean, let's see. We'll see. It probably hits really hard. It's probably good if he has crazy base attack and crazy multipliers. It's probably good if he just smacks insanely hard and you're not relying on ignore defense to make things work, especially like with the seal debuffs coming in, turning off potentially like your savage sets, Harima passives, that sort of thing. Just hitting really hard without ignore defense is valuable too. We'll see. It's questionable. I think it seems just initially, it seems really, really difficult to trigger that block revive. Obviously, if you can, that's insanely strong, but very hard. Metamorph, you can switch back. And if I move me, Unending Carnage. I love it as Carnage with a K. Mortal Kombat would be proud. Champions crit damage increases by 1% for every 3 points of accuracy they have. Ignores 10% of the target's defense for each debuff they're under. Okay. Well, there's his ignore defense. Cool. It's a lot of crit damage. Like, man, if you have him with 300 accuracy, and 300 accuracy is not that crazy, really. That's a 100% crit damage. Like, that's a lot. That is a lot. And he's got massive base attack. So the crit damage is very valuable for scaling. Yeah, that's a strong passive. Huh. I think he's interesting. Like, he doesn't strike me as... I don't know, maybe he is crazy overpowered. He doesn't have anything to make him tanky. He seems like he's going to be very squishy, right? Like, he's got nothing to keep him alive, which is usually what I like with my arena nukers these days, right? I like arena nukers with passives to keep them alive or that are HP or defense based so they can take a hit. He's got nothing. He is super, super squishy. Polymorph seems to really wreck him. He seems very poorly suited to the current meta. But like I said, 5 months to get him. Maybe things will change by then. He certainly seems like he's going to put out a lot of damage. He seems like a lot of fun. I will say, probably do want to book him up, right? Yeah, like he probably wants to be booked. You could probably not bother booking Form 1. That doesn't seem too important. Like the Ignore Resist is nice because you're probably not going to have a lot of accuracy on him. But booking up Form 2 seems pretty big. Like 30% damage, 20... Like, he's going to do like a lot more damage when he's booked up. Like, it's going to make a big difference. So, yeah, it could be a very strong damage dealer, but he's going to be tough to keep alive. Let me know what you guys think of Karnage. He certainly looks freaking awesome. He looks cool. Will he be good? I don't know. Karnage the... not the Archon, the Anarch. I keep thinking about him as the Archon, but Karnage the Anarch. Sick-looking champ. You get him for free as well, which is always nice. I don't know. Will he be as impactful as Mithrala? Will he be as impactful as Lydia? I guess only time will tell. I'd be surprised. I would really doubt it. But we'll see. We'll see. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. There's some nice rewards along the way there. That's part 4 of 4. Yeah, you're going to get Mythical Tome as well to potentially put into your Carnage. All right, cool. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.